I was quoted almost 10 grand to have this resin patio installed.
So can we DIY resin bound and save ourselves loads of money, or will we just end up ruining it?
By the end of this video, we'll find out, is it actually a DIY job? How difficult is it? How much money could you save? How long it takes? And whether I'd take it on again. Resin bound is made from aggregate mixed with epoxy resin. And once it goes off, it goes rock hard and gives you an amazing flat, smooth finish that looks great, but is also easy to maintain. But before we get anywhere near this amazing resin, we need to build what is arguably the most important part of the whole job. Get this bit wrong and that amazing patio could fail within just a few years. So the sub base that we're about to tackle first might just be the most important part of the job. One of the benefits of a resin patio is it's permeable. All that water is going to disappear, and the sub base underneath it, well, there's to be permeable too. So I've got 9.5 tons of type 3 limestone, so all that water will be able to pass through not only the resin but the concrete that we're going to put down as well. We'll show you how to do all that later, and through the sub base. And luckily we've got a digger to move it with.
We're going to use type 3 instead of the usual type 1 because A, it's cheap, and B, there's no fines in it, which means there's no bits of sand that'll clog it up and water will go all the way through. So our sub base build up is 100 millimeters of type 3 limestone. That's going in the very bottom on top of the soil there. And then we have got 100 millimeters of concrete as well to go on top. And that's going to be permeable concrete. We'll show you the delivery and how we spread all that a little bit later. But we've also got this pathway all the way up here to do, and along the back as well. So there's plenty of type 3 to get in here, and then we can move on to the concrete and eventually that amazing looking resin. But before we even think about the resin, it's critical that we get this sub base right because it could ruin the final result if we don't. We're using a couple of asphalt rakes to position the type 3 and get the levels at roughly 100 millimeters.
Now we've got the levels roughly right. We've got the whacker, and we're going to run over it with a whacker or compactor, whatever you want to call it, because it all needs to tie in and be nice and compact before we put any concrete on top of it.
But one thing that did surprise me with type 3 is it doesn't compact like your usual type 1. It doesn't seem to bind together quite as well, and I guess that's just because the stones are much bigger.
So that is our type 3 down and compacted. Now I was going to put mesh in it originally because I don't want it to crack, but to be honest, I think there's only going to be foot traffic out here, so I'm not going to do it. If it was in a driveway, I'd definitely put mesh down if there was any heavy traffic going over or anything like that. But just for walking and putting a few pots on, I don't think I need to put mesh in it. So I'm going to bypass that, and that's saved me about £500 because that is quite expensive. So the next thing we're going to do is get the permeable concrete in. Normally, when you lay a concrete pad, you would create a tamp. We want the finished resin height to come up to the top of the edging, and of course we need 12 mil of resin, and the rest needs to be permeable concrete.
So unlike a normal tamp, we can't just go from edge to edge. So I'm making a little mark where the edging's going to sit, and then I'm measuring up 12 millimeters with a square, making a little mark with a pencil, and then I'm going to use my square just to square off and remove that 12 millimeters from the end of the tamp. And then I'll use a jigsaw to cut along the lines that I've made to create the shape for the edging, so that it'll run along the edging nicely.
And you can see we'll then get that 12 mil that we can fill in later with the resin. Perfect.
And the concrete's arrived. I've ordered site mix concrete. Anyone can order this, by the way. This is not a builder thing. You can order this as a DIYer. And the good thing with site mix is they'll mix the consistency, i.e. the no fines that we want. They'll mix that on site, and you're not set to a quantity. So if you use a bit less than you measure out, especially on a big area like this, or if you use a little bit more, it doesn't matter. You can see that first one there's got a little bit of sand in it from the chute though, but that'll sort itself out as we go.
So the no fines being really stony, it's actually really easy to maneuver. The concrete placer is the perfect tool for it. Bring it this way.
The process is to roughly place the concrete with a placer and then use the tamps that we made to drag across the top and screed the top off it, which gets it level, and tamp it and trowel it as we go to get it nice and flat and compact. We did the big patio area as well.
Wow, that was a graft, especially on a hot day, but the permeable concrete's down and it's going to be worth it. And that right there is why you can't just lay this stuff over any old concrete, including old concrete. I've seen people say you can do that, and you shouldn't, because you need the water to be able to run all the way through. If you put it over any solid foundation, of course frost, the water can't drain away. In the winter it could freeze and it could blow the resin. So we have to make sure that we've got a completely permeable and strong base. Now I'm going to let you see my potential first mistake. I'm hoping that it's not going to ruin the final finish. If you take a look at some of the areas, I compacted them with a trowel a little bit more than others. So there is nice and smooth. And if you come over here, we've got a lot more. In fact, some of the loose stones have been kicked away, so I'm going to have to sweep them up. But we've got a few pockets and divots. Now it's still hard, it's still rigid, but what I'm hoping is that you don't end up seeing any of them little stones through the surface. I don't think we will, but I wanted to let you know that there is that chance. If you don't trowel it properly and you get a rough spot, because we were rushing this, there is the chance that you could make this mistake. Now I'll let you know later on in the video if that's going to cause us a problem or not, because at this point I don't actually know the answer to it. Now I think that the sub base is actually the hard part. I think we've done the hard work. We've only got a very thin layer of 12 millimeters of resin across the top of this permeable sub base. So now the exciting bit, let's start getting some resin mixed up. We've got two options. We've got the pro way and the DIY way, and we're going to test both. So DIY kit first. These are kits that you can buy
From Resin Coat. They're called Ultra Bind and they consist of a part A and a part B
that you mix together with a bag of the resin bound gravel. You mix it all in a bucket, you mix it together, and you should be able to lay it quickly and easily. They're perfect for small areas like the pathways. So we're going to test this method on the pathways, and later on we'll test the pro method on the patio. This is why a lot of people get put off from doing this job. They think you got to do the pro method, but we're going to find out if you have to, whether there's pros and cons between the two.
To mix the resin, we open up part A and give that a good mix with a paddle mixer.
And now the clock starts ticking.
Because once you add part B, the chemical reaction begins, with a working time of only 20 minutes. And we know when it's properly mixed because it turns that creamy yellow. I then pour 1 bag of aggregate into a large flexi bucket before adding the resin and making sure that we get all the remnants out the tub. And then I use the paddle mixer to mix the resin with the aggregate. And I forgot to mention, it's probably best to wear some decent gloves like these rhino grips, which will protect your hands. Now I'm pouring the mix as close to where I'm working as possible, so I haven't got to move it around too much. But to begin getting the right levels, I use a spazzle or concrete placer to actually drag the mix around to get it in the rough level and rough location, before we then start to trowel it.
Surprisingly, this is a lot easier than you'd think. I thought this might be quite difficult and might need more of a knack like plastering. I was worried about the working time. At the minute it feels okay. If you've got little gaps, just pick a little bit up, chuck it in the corner, and there we go. I'll second trowel over this. We'll get it nice and smooth. And then we'll start to apply a little bit of pressure just to compact the surface. And look at that, that is dead smooth. Little pro trick I picked up from another video I watched, a guy that does this all the time for a living. Pure acetone, all white spirit. For your final trowel, spray it on there, and then the resin can't stick. And that gives you a really nice, smooth final trowel. I got Chris on the mixer because you need to keep going. We need a live edge. And bear that in mind, you need to get someone to help you, because I'll be laying this and Chris will be mixing it up. Just half an hour and we're already working our way along quite quickly. You're probably wondering how I got time to stand and talk to a camera. Well, I'm actually as shocked as you probably are, because I thought we wouldn't have much time at all. All right, I got Chris helping me to mix, so that is speeding things up. But the working time seems longer than I expected, and it's hot today. It's like 25 degrees. Okay, it's cloudy, but this stuff's not going off that quickly.
But it is really important that you don't let the resin go off on your tools, so use acetone or white spirit to clean off that resin before it goes hard in between every few mixes.
Now these Ultra Bind DIY kits,
they come from a company called Resin Coat.
Now to be totally transparent, these guys have not paid me for this video, it's not sponsored, and I can say whatever I want about it. I'm not obliged to say anything nice, but they did send me the materials to do this video with. So far, I'm really happy with it. We're going to work our way to the corner and then our way down this path here. It's more of the same, it's just about keeping going, and then when we get to the patio, we'll test that pro method. That is just one afternoon to do them DIY kits, and they look absolutely incredible, and a big sigh of relief because them high spots in the concrete made no difference at all. It's actually really forgiving. Guys, if you're not already a subscriber, hit that subscribe button for me because you don't want to miss the next video, and if you're subscribed, YouTube will make sure you don't. And hit the like button for me because that helps this video get out there and reach more people. So the DIY kits might have been easy, but what about the pro kits? Is there a reason that people get pros in? Well, we're going to get the same equipment as the pros and we're going to give it a go. So this is a forced action mixer. This is what the pros use, and this time we're going to be using Ultra Bind Pro kits from Resin Coat, the same people we got the DIY kits from. Link will be in the description, and we'll be able to make much bigger mixers with this. But the question is, it's all right doing them little pathways, but can I get a pro finish on a huge patio like this?
The Pro kits are made up of 4 bags of aggregate that go into the forced action mixer first, and then just like the DIY kits, we mix part A and part B of the resin together until we get the perfect mix. We then add that to the aggregate and let the forced action mixer make the perfect mix for us, which doesn't take long.
So I was going to use a barra, but I think it might be easier to use the forced action mixer and the chute and actually just dump it as we go, and then use the concrete placer or spazzle, whatever you want to call it, to move it in its rough position, and then I should just be able to trowel it. So I've switched to the double-handed ox trowel, which is much easier. These will be linked in the description as well, and that allows you to just get a bit more pressure for them larger areas. But I'll tell you what, I expected this to be harder than it is. I've already done a little bit and I've already got it nice and flat, and I'm no pro at plastering or anything like that. The technique is pretty much the same as we did on the paths. I'm going to go across it like this, get any big lumps off. So there's a lump there, look. I'll just take that off, start to flatten it down to match the bit I just did. You can feel when it gets there, and once an area's there like that, so that's quite flat now, been over that a few times, I'll start to bring it this way. So any trail marks that go across it, I'll then bring them towards me like that. And then we'll do that acetone final trowel towards us to polish it. It's going to look amazing. Now it's gone off, that is absolutely solid. And it looks and feels amazing to walk on. Gone. That is actually gone. So is this genuinely DIYable, and should you lay your own resin patio or pathway? Well, if we look at the cost first and go back to the quote that I got just before I started this project, the cheapest quote that I got was 8.5 grand. The most expensive one was just over 10 grand. So how much did we spend and what was the saving like? Type 3 hardcore came in at £600. Permeable concrete came in at just under £1,000. And obviously thanks to you guys that watch these videos, the resin was supplied so that I could show you how to do this job in this video. But that would have cost just over £1,500. But at the moment, the guys over there have been kind enough to give you a discount code, 15% if you want to use it. That'll be down in the description with the link. But that brings our total to just over £3,000 and a saving of at least 5 to 7 grand if you do this job yourself. So that brings the element of cost as a massive 10 out of 10, and it's definitely something that should make you think about doing this as a DIY job. But difficulty, how difficult was all of this? Well, I'd actually say it's easier than stuff like plastering or floor screeding, and I'd give it probably a 6 out of 10. Effort-wise, you need some friends and you need to have a good few days with those friends to give this job a go, because it's not a small job and it will take you a bit of time. But skill-wise, I mean, I've never done this job before, and I'd be absolutely surprised if a pro could get a better result than this. So I'd give it a 6 out of 10 for difficulty. Now time, even with friends, there's about 5 to 7 days work to do a massive area like this. Of course, it depends on your size, but it is quite a time-consuming job. So you'll have to work out if that, in my case, 5 grand of cost cost saving is worth your time.
So let's score the finish. Well, I'm never going to give myself a 10 out of 10, but I'm going to give myself a 9 because I think this has come out at pro level results. So should you give DIY Resin Bound a go? Absolutely. And if you want to see more outdoor projects, click one of these. See you in the next one.